We start with the sad news that Graham Taylor has sadly passed away this week, aged 72, Dan. He was a great man, not just a great manager, as we've seen from so many people, from the press, ex-players, who suggest that he's just a brilliant character and such a sad loss for football and everyone else.
Yeah, obviously it came a bit out of the blue yesterday as well, which sometimes can make these things worse. I mean, just hearing some of the stuff that people have said about him. I mean, seeing Adam Leventhal on Sky Sports News breaking down when he was reading it yesterday, it just shows the measure of the man and what he meant to people in the football world. I mean, we've heard some great stories over the last 24 hours of stuff he'd done off the pitch. We know about all the stuff he did on the pitch. I mean, from a Villa point of view, we were very young in those days. You weren't even born. So obviously he rescued Villa from the abyss. Villa were in a real mess. So I think a lot is owed to Graham Taylor for where Aston Villa are today. I mean, as I said, we were in a mess when he came in. We could be anywhere now if it wasn't for him. I mean, if you think things are bad now, imagine what could have happened if Graham Taylor hadn't taken over and turned us around and built such a good team that actually ended up nearly winning the league. I mean, that's an unbelievable achievement. That sounds like it was up there with what Leicester did last season if Villa had won the league. But he's just, every club that he's been associated with, he was well loved and well liked, and I'm sure he'll be sorely missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, 7 honours to his name from 5 clubs that he managed at. Spent 2 spells at Villa, a win percentage of 45% in the one occasion and 31% in the other. The second one coming obviously 2002 to 2003, replacing John Gregory as manager. There's some great comments that people have made about him and what a guy he was and how strong-willed he was and just in general what a character he was.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm better placed to talk about his less successful second spell, but I think he still did some good things when he came in for that second spell. I mean, he gave a lot of youth players a chance. Gareth Barry was completely out of the picture. He was probably on his way out when Graham Taylor came in. He put him back in the side and he started to play some of his good football. I mean, he was the one that gave Thomas Hitzlsperger a chance. He hadn't really been involved at all up until Graham Taylor came in, and he's one of those managers that I think everyone that plays under him, they will have liked him and they'll have nice things to say about him, even if they probably weren't in the team under him. I'm sure he's the kind of father figure manager that keeps everyone involved. He just sounds like he was a magnificent man. I mean, obviously neither of us have ever met him, but it would have been a pleasure to meet him. And I know that, I mean, my dad, for example, loved Graham Taylor, says he's one of his favourite managers that's ever managed Aston Villa. So that says a lot about him as well, that he goes down in folklore really for Aston Villa and for Watford.
Yeah, totally. He's just a great guy. You hear the stories of his last game as manager against Everton back in the 90s, how the fans chanted his name for the whole 90 minutes. Just a credit and a testament to how big a character he was for so many people and so influential he was.
When he left the second time round, I believe he refused compensation because he didn't want to sign a confidentiality agreement. He wanted to stand up to the things that were wrong at the club, and that's the measure of a man. That managers nowadays, they take the money, they get paid off for being failures. Graham will probably be the first to admit things didn't go to plan the second time round, but he wasn't prepared to be paid off. He'd rather keep his dignity and be able to say what he felt, and he was just such a strong-willed character, and so many people have got so much respect for him. And you'll see whenever his funeral is that there'll be so many people there from the football world that have been influenced by that man.
Tomorrow will be a fitting send-off for him, as well, as Aston Villa do travel to Molineux to take on Wolverhampton Wanderers, obviously one of his other sides that he managed that as well.
As you say, it's fitting to 2 of his old teams, loved by both sets of fans, and obviously there's a little bit of a rivalry between Wolves and Villa, but I'm 100% sure that both sets of fans will come together and give Graham the send-off he deserves.
Yeah, totally. We rest in peace, Graham. We send out all our thoughts and prayers to his family and friends at this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan Bodell is a little bit ill, but you're here.
Yeah, I think if I would have failed a fitness test this morning or early this afternoon, but this evening I've just about got through. I've passed my fitness test to come on the preview show.
There's dedication there. We're going to hopefully see some dedication on Saturday evening when we do take on Wolves. 5 places between us. Paul Lambert against his former side. How can you see this one faring?
Tough game. I mean, if I think back to when we played them in Steve Bruce's first game. I go as far as to say they were one of the better sides I've seen at Villa Park this season. I mean, admittedly, the second half we were absolutely awful, but they should have won that game. They've got a couple of dangerous players, a couple of players in really good form, and Lambert steadied them a bit, to be fair, since he's come in, and it actually looks like they're playing quite a nice brand of football, which is obviously not usual for us to see for Paul Lambert's side after he tried to bore us to tears in his latter stages of his spell at Villa Park. But obviously I don't think he'll get a warm welcome from the Villa fans, so this will be one that the Villa fans want to get one over him, and I think Paul Lambert will definitely want to get one over Aston Villa.
So Wolves in the last 6, so actually conceded 6 and scored 9. 2 wins, one of them in the FA Cup. That would make 3 wins, drawn once and lost twice. So a bit of patchy form, a bit like us, but they did go and travel to Stoke last weekend in the FA Cup and win 2-0. So it's going to be an interesting encounter.
They've got a real match winner in their side in Helder Costa. I mean, he ran rings round us at Villa Park, and it was him that scored the winner against Stoke last weekend. He's one of the best talents in the Championship. They'll do well to have him at Molineux next season, the way he's played so far this season. He's the top scorer with 8 goals, and he's been on pretty decent form all season. Their home form's not great, is one positive, but then obviously our away form's not brilliant either. So the likelihood, as we usually say in Villa games, is that it will be a draw, but it's one that we really need to win, because if we lose to them, they're currently sitting 17th, they're only 3 points off us, and then suddenly once again we're looking nearer the bottom than we are the top, and the Championship's just an absolutely bizarre league. You just never seem to know where you stand in it, but we definitely need a win, because we've got to start pushing if we are to make top 6. If we lose this game, I'm going to say top 6 is going to be very, very difficult. Now,
obviously for this game, Dan, we're without Codger. He played last time in the 1-1 draw in Steve Bruce's first game. He scored the penalty to make it 1-0 to us. How can you see that going for us?
We need to get a move on, because at this rate, by the time we get anyone in, Codger and Ayew are going to be back. I mean, I'd have liked to have seen that we'd purchased an outfielder by now, to be honest. I mean, I've seen a lot of people complaining about this on Twitter. It's always that we're preparing a bid. It never seems to be that we're actually making a bid. No, I'm not sure what goes into the preparation stages of making a bid. But let's just make some bids and then look to get some people in, because we're going to look at our potential lineup for tomorrow tea time, and suddenly with just Codger and Ayew being away, we look really short of quality. Not too many options there. I mean, you spoke about Gabriel Bonlahor. He will, I'd have thought, 100% be leading the line. I mean, on one hand, at least he's got a good Derby Day record, but that was all a very long time ago. Now he needs to start finding the back of the net. We've talked about him in detail in previous videos, but he needs to stop hiding and show what he's all about. He's been better, but he needs to do more if he wants to stay in the team.
For Wolves, they drew 0-0 in their last league game against Sheffield Wednesday away from home, which was a really good result. They lined up with Ikemi in goal that game. Cody, Bath, Stearman and Doherty making up the back four. Edwards, Price, Costa, Mason, Ronan, Bodvarsson finishing their side off. Another one of those threats in there is Bodvarsson, obviously the Atlantic striker. Big threat for them. The one position that their strength and depth and better players are in is centre midfield with Dave Edwards. 6 goals already this season. Real outlet for them, and he's really come to the fore for them as well under Paul Lambert.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a specialist with his late runs into the box. He's always been reasonably good in the air and getting forward, but he's on a good run of form of scoring goals at the moment, so he's obviously getting some end product later on in his career. I mean, he's nowhere near the player Lampard is, but the timing of his runs and the way he does ghost into the penalty area does remind me a bit of Lampard. So he's perhaps the Championship Frank Lampard, but we will have to be wary of him because he's on a great run of form. I mean, obviously we've got Jedinak matched up against him. Hopefully he'll do a job on him. Because if we silence Edwards and Costa, we've got a good chance of winning the game.
How can you see Villa lining up in comparison to that? What will we be doing?
I mean, the back four unfortunately picks itself at the moment, which means Alan Hearn at right back. Johnston will obviously continue in goal. I'd expect Tishibola and Jedinak to be the midfield pairing because they actually did all right against the strong Spurs midfield last weekend. Bakuna and Adoma will be on the flanks, and then Gabby up front. The only one we haven't agreed on is whether it's Grealish or McCormack lining up behind Agbonlahor.
Yeah, I think it'll be McCormack, and you think it'll be Grealish. I know Grealish hasn't really started much away from home this season. But as you touched on, he did tear apart the Wolves' defence in the first half against them in the return fixture earlier in the year.
I think if Grealish obviously played against Spurs last week, so I'm basing it on the fact that he'll probably continue him against Wolves if he's picked Grealish over McCormack for that game. Grealish did have a good first half against Wolves last time round, and he did cause them trouble, obviously winning the penalty. For me at the moment, I think this is the kind of game where we're probably going to look to soak things up and play a bit more on the break. So if we are playing on the break, I think that suits Grealish more than it suits McCormack. And actually, I think Grealish his form's not been brilliant over the last few weeks, but it's difficult in the Villa side that's not playing that well. But one aspect of his game that I think has gone under the radar a bit this season is his defensive work, because I think that has come on leaps and bounds. His tracking is 100 times what it was last season or the season before. I think he's got a bit more football maturity than he had. So I think on the basis that he'll be more difficult for Wolves to handle on the break, and the fact that his defensive side of his game is probably stronger than McCormack, so I'd say Grealish is more likely to start.
Good argument there. I can believe that, to be fair. I think either way, though, if either of them start, at least there's some sort of creativity there, because else I can't see where our outlet is going to be from the game.
Well, the problem is David Grealish, McCormack are the creative players, but I'm not sure there's that much movement or anything exciting in front of them. I mean, Adoma's very much a winger. He's not really a goal scorer. Bakuna scored one all season, and then you've got Gabby, who hasn't scored for a year. So it's all well and good having some creative players, but you need to get the balance right around them, as we've touched on before. And at the moment, I don't think we've got the right balance. We've got the right personnel. Signings are a necessity at the moment. The
fact there is a big elephant in the room in this case, and that is Paul Lambert. Can't shut up and bitching about us and slagging us off in the press, can he? Since he's left Villa Park. So we're matching up to him again.
Oddly, the time when you'd expect to hear him talking about Villa when he's just about to play them, I don't remember hearing anything. So that's bizarre, because every other chance he gets, he brings Aston Villa into the conversation. I mean, he probably was hard done by in some ways, but actually by the time that he left, he'd actually built a decent squad that should have been doing a lot better. I mean, his first year, we looked like it was all coming together towards the end of the season. We had a good counter-attack inside. Vyman had Bonlahor either side of Benteke. They were all scoring goals. Delph was coming to the fore. We looked good. And then, for whatever reason, he went from this counter-attacking football to a pedestrian tick-attacker that never really took off. I mean, some of the games over that Christmas, I think there was a couple of 0-0s at home. We didn't look like we could have played for days and not scored. It was just, we were going nowhere. We were passing the ball around very nicely, but there was nothing behind it. We were never, ever going to score. And I think kind of signed his own P45 by the end of it, because the football was awful. The results were awful, and the fans he completely lost the fans. And once you've lost the away fans in particular, then your days are numbered. And if Tim Sherwood's coming in, who's not the best manager in the world, and making you look very silly by stringing results together, then there's something wrong with you. He had a reluctance to use youth, and now he's benefiting from that at Wolves because he's got Jordan Graham, who I think is going to be a very good footballer, who I wish we'd hung on to. So Lambert's reaping the benefits of his own mistakes at Villa. But he won't be a long-term thing at Wolves. I do think he's still damaged goods. He's getting the new manager bounce a little bit at the moment, but it won't last. I think the guy's damaged goods from his time at Villa.
So very quickly, Dan, what's your prediction for the game?
I'm going to go with 1-1. I'd be feeling a lot better had we managed to get Henry Lansbury over the line before this game. That might have persuaded me to predict a win. But the fact we're on telly and we never usually do great on telly, despite winning last time out on Sky, I'm going to go with 1-1.
Well, I'm going to go for 1-0 Villa win with Gabby Bonlahor scoring.
I hope you're correct, Matt.
The fact I've predicted Gabby, who knows what could happen.
He'll be tight. There won't be a lot of goals in it. Villa games are never really full of goals at the moment, are they?
No, I wish it was. But anyway, everyone, comment your predictions below, what you think about the game. Cheers to Dan for joining me in his ill state.
No problem.
As he snorts. If you did enjoy this video, then please drop us a like below. Try and smash 150 likes in this video, and also comment on your predictions on the game. And make sure you do head over to the subscribe button and get those post notifications on so you can see our content first.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another one? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. And don't forget to subscribe. Click on our logo there on the left and press subscribe. Easy.